Okay, so welcome Ashley and Dakota and Kaylee. Hopefully, a couple more people will show up here in a minute. Um, okay, I just wanted to point something out to you. I was thinking about this the other day. We talk a lot in book clubs about the meaning of what we're doing and our goals and how that links in with the rest of the world. Well, those same goals apply in math. I just changed around just a couple of these words. Our goals are still the same, that we're going to communicate, collaborate, think critically, and use a little bit of creativity when we're talking about these different math concepts. We don't always have to be, talking about a novel in order to communicate ideas or collaborating, on the theme of a novel. We're collaborating as we solve these different math problems. Thinking critically, that comes into play when we start talking about where you see these type of opportunities pop up in real life. And we'll get to that a little bit more later. And then, of course, creativity. The way that we solve problems is always, or not always, but a lot of times unique. Our thinking is unique. Okay, so today we're not going to spend too much time going over fractions, decimals, and percent, decimals, and fractions again because we did so well with it last week. But we're going to move into classifying different types of lines, and then we're going to move into angles, and then we have a little bit of fun to have too with some games. So let's just start with what we did last week, which was talking about percent, decimals, and fractions, and just make sure that we haven't forgotten anything there. Okay, so how would I write 94 hundredths, and you can see it here on your screen, as a percentage? Go ahead and type that into your chat. Good, Ashley, awesome. Who wants to give me an example of where you would maybe see 94% in real life? Maybe on a math test because all of you are such little wizards. You got a 94%. All right. How do I write 32 over 50 as a percentage? Okay, got some quick answers coming into the chat. Kaylee, you said 64%. Tell me your thinking about that.
I just times both by 2, so
That's exactly right. And I'm going to go ahead and write now. So we had 32 over 50, and we know that percentages are out of 100. So we had to kind of convert that. And so she multiplied 50 by 2 in order to get out of 100. And so when you multiply 32 by 2, you would get 64 hundredths. And so we all know that 64 hundredths is the same thing as saying 64%. Okay, awesome. How would I write 30% as a decimal? Go ahead and type it into the chat. Perfect. Good job, Ashley. Good job, Keely. And you're right. If I'm converting from a percentage to a decimal, I simply just move, and you don't see it, but there's a decimal point after 30. I just move it back 2 places, and I would just write 0.30. Good. How do I write 40% as a fraction in simplest form? So I'm going to take a picture of this one so that I can wipe on it or write on it. Okay, so I have 40 hundredths. That's how I write it as a fraction. Now I need to reduce that fraction. Kaylee, you typed into the chat the correct answer. What did you divide both of these numbers by in order to get to simplest form?
I just memorized that one. I don't know.
Oh, she memorized it. Well, that's fine. You know what? 20 is a multiple of both of these numbers. So what if I divided 40 by 20? Ah, and that is 2. And then if I divided 100 by 20, that is 5. So 2/5 is simplest form. If I wanted to work backwards and check my work, multiply 5 times 20 and you get 100, and then multiply 2 times 20 and you get 40. So that's a way to check your work to make sure that you got the correct one. And so yes, 2/5 is the simplest form. Perfect. How do I write 25% as a fraction in simplest form? Good job, Kaylee. 25%. So we know that 25% can be written as a fraction of 25 out of 100. Now I need to reduce that number to make it simplest form. 25 goes into both of these numbers. So 25 divided by 25 is 1. 100 divided by 25 is 4. So that's one that you probably should, just recognize and maybe even memorize. 1/4 is the same as 25%. Okay, awesome. All right, how do you write 50% as a fraction, a mixed number, or a whole number in simplest form? Ooh, that's a lot of different things. I'm going to take a picture of this one. I wish it would just wipe clean each time, but it doesn't. Sorry. Okay, 50% as a fraction. Well, we can start off with 50 over 100, but that's definitely not simplest form. So we're going to start by making this pretty easy. 50 goes into both of these numbers. So 50 divided by 50 is 1. 100 divided by 50 is 2. So here is the fraction. How would I write 1/2 as a mixed number? I don't think that's possible. Or a whole number. That's not possible either. The only other option I would have is the decimal format, which would be 0.50. Okay? So let's do 1/2. Okay. All right. How are we feeling so far about kind of what we did last week with our percentages, fractions, and decimals?
Say okay.
You could type into the chat a happy face, a sad face, whatever. Ashley's feeling pretty good. TJ's okay. All right, we're going to do one more because this is the first example I've seen that's over 100%, and then we'll move on, just to make sure that you guys have covered this. How do you write 240% as a fraction, mixed number, or a whole number? So, sorry, I have to wipe this clean and take another picture of it so I can draw on it. Okay. All right, so I have 240%. That's way more than 100. So we know that this is what the fraction looks like, but this can definitely be reduced. A mixed number is pretty easy to see because how many groups of 100 fit into 240? We know that there would be 2 and then 40 left over. But this fraction, 40/100ths, is not in simplest form. We just did this one a couple minutes ago when we said a multiple of both 40 and 100, and we divided both by 20. So let's just do that. If I divide 40 by 20, I get 2. If I divide 100 by 20, I get 5. So this would be the mixed number in simplest form. Okay, I don't know how they're going to want me to type this in, actually. 2/5. Hopefully they'll recognize that. And we got it. Perfect. All right, let's do one more kind of hard one because some of them have been pretty easy up until now. We have 29/4, and we have to write that as a percentage. So let me take a picture of it so I can write on it again. Okay, so I have 29 over 4. Well, we know when we're talking about percentages, it has to be out of 100. So let's just change that so that it is out of 100. Now, what do I have to do to 4 to end up with 100? I would multiply it by what? 25. Perfect. If I do 4 times 25, I would end up with 100. Now I would have to do the same thing to the top. So all of you go ahead and work this out. 29 times 25. And when you get an answer, type it into the chat. So right now we are working on converting 29 fourths into a percentage. So it has to be out of 100. Okay, so 29 times 25 is where we're at. Perfect. I got a couple answers coming in. So when you did this multiplication, you should have ended up with 725. So now, this is obviously not simplest form. So let's go ahead and reduce it to a mixed number. How many groups of 100 fit into 725? That would be 7 with 25 left over. Now I can reduce again because we know that 25 is a multiple of both of these numbers. So it would be 7 and 1/4. Okay. Give me a thumbs up or a happy face in the chat if you have your webcam off, if that made sense. It was multi-step. Oh, sorry. They asked me to write it as a percentage. So yes, it would have been 725%, which is the same thing as 7 and 1/4 in fraction format. I just forgot what they asked for. Perfect. All right. Okay, well then let's just, I mean, I can kind of keep that open for later, but let's move on. If we have time, we can come back to the game, or you can play the game later with the fraction, decimals, and percentage. But I want to move on to, I think I'm going to actually skip ahead to angles because there's a little bit more work to do with angles. So let's just review types of angles, how to measure them, and so forth, and then we'll play a game. Okay, so this is a cool little just picture so that you can all just get a visual before we get started of different types of angles. This right here is called an acute angle because the measurement, and here's the measurement where my mouse is less than 90 degrees. A right angle is that perfect square that measures 90 degrees. So if I put a little protractor up to this, it would measure 90 degrees. An obtuse angle is bigger than 90 degrees. Oh, sorry, I skipped ahead. A straight angle, you can notice this is a half circle right here. A straight angle is just a line, and that is called 180 degrees. A reflex angle is bigger than 180 degrees, and the way that we're going to find a measurement for a reflex angle is we would measure this small angle first, and then we would subtract it from 360. Does anybody know why I would subtract it from 360 to find the rest of the measurement? I would subtract it from 360 because a 360 is a full rotation, okay? That's like a full circle. So if I found this angle, the measurement, and I subtracted it from 360, it would give me what the rest of the measurement or the reflex angle measured. Okay, so I'm just going to play a little bit. Um, let's see here. Do I have any volunteers to tell me when to stop before I get into a different type of angle? So basically, right now I'm working with an acute angle, which goes from 1 degree all the way up to a certain number before it becomes something else. Anybody speak up? Your microphones are on. Tell me when to stop. Ah! All right, good job, Ashley. She typed into the chat. Stop. So once I reach 90 degrees, I have a different angle. It's called a right angle. So now I'm working with obtuse angles. Notice obtuse angles are anywhere from 91 degrees to 179 degrees. Once I reach 180, it becomes a straight angle. Anything bigger than 180 is called a reflex angle. And there we go. Once I complete the circle, I have 360 degrees, a full rotation. Okay, so now that we just have a little bit of background on the different types of angles, we can move on. All right, let's see. I think let's do a couple practice problems, and then we will do Angles Jeopardy, which will be fun. Yay! All right, let's just take a pause for a second before I do this. If you're comfortable, turn your webcam on because this part is actually kind of fun. If you're not comfortable turning your webcam on, that's fine too. But hopefully we can have maybe 1 or 2 people turn it on so that we can play just a little bit before we get started. Yay! All right, we have a couple volunteers. All right, so I want you to look around your desk or your bedroom or wherever you're at, and I want you to find, and this one's easy, an example of a right angle, something that is a right angle, and hold it up to your webcam. I'll even do it. I'm gonna cover my face, but yay! All right. So I'm showing one right here, and obviously this is a piece of ceramic that has a flat right angle edge. And Ashley, what do you have there?
I have a Miranda Lambert music CD.
Perfect. And show us the right angle. Yes, the edge is right there. Perfect. Yay, Kaylee. Go ahead and point to the right angle.
It's my little sister's coloring book.
Perfect. Awesome. So that one is a really easy example to find. Let's challenge ourselves and look around and find an acute angle, something smaller than 90 degrees. Yay! Good job, Kaylee. What are you showing?
A stick.
All right, so you're showing 2 sticks that are making a angle less than 90 degrees, and I'm showing my hands. Perfect. So this is just another way to look around your world and notice that math is all around you. I mean, obviously, if you're like an architect, then you're going to use angles and measurements all the time, but it's all around you, whether or not that's your job or, whatever it is. So let's find an I'm not acute, sorry, an obtuse angle, something bigger than 90 degrees. Um, let's see. You could even just make one like I'm about to do. Yeah. Okay, I get it. There we go. Just like that. So you can see that that angle is bigger than 90 degrees. Perfect. Ashley's using her arms. It's pretty easy to do. Reflex angles, that's going to be probably too hard to hold something up to the camera. Let's find an example. Oh, and she just drew one. Perfect. Of a straight angle. Perfect, Kaylee. Awesome. Ashley's just showing us the very top of it. And Dakota, good job. All right. So let's find an example of a fat kitty. Just kidding. It has nothing to do with geometry. All right. Okay. And TJ had typed into the chat lots of cool examples that he was looking at for the different angles as well. So that was a little bit of fun. All right, so angle vocabulary. We need to name angles. And there are different ways that you name the angles just by looking at it. We know that this is an acute angle because it's smaller than 90 degrees and it has 3 points. So I can name this angle TUS or SUT, or I can call it UTS. So those are 3 different ways to write the angle. It just depends on how you look at it. So that's really not too hard. We're going to move on to Angles Jeopardy. So here we go. So if you're comfortable, have your webcam on because it's a little easier to play when you just like kind of raise your hand. But if you don't, that's fine too. I am watching my chat. So, okay, how many people do we have? We have Ashley, Dakota, Kaylee, and TJ. All right, so we've got 4 people. Okay, so let's just say, Ashley, sorry, you're the blue guy. Well, let's just switch that up. All right, Dakota, you're the blue guy. Ashley, you're this red person. TJ, you're the green person. And Kaylee, you're the yellow person. Okay? Now I'm going to forget that, so you need to remember. All right. Classifying angles is one category. Angles that are formed by parallel lines, and then measuring angles. Yellow team, Kaylee, you won the coin toss. So where would you like to start?
Classifying angles.
Okay, so that's probably one of our easier categories. For how much?
100.
Okay. What type of angle is this? You could type into the chat or raise your hand. All right, I got TJ's answer first. Oh, no, I actually got Dakota's answer first. All right, perfect. All right, Dakota, what team were you again?
Blue.
You're the blue. Okay, sorry. And what is it? You said acute. Yay! All right, Dakota, pick our next category.
Measuring angles for 200.
Okay. What is the measure of this angle?
You can even
go ahead and type into the
click
chat.
on the picture.
No, it's not a real great picture, but how about to make it fair, we all type into the chat. So there's 2 ways to read it. Are we going to take the smaller measurement that says about 66 degrees, or are we going to take the bigger measurement that says, 115? There we go. Okay, so I'm getting a couple people saying it's about 115 degrees. The first person to say that was Ashley. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, here are our choices. Sorry. 113. And Ashley, you were the red team. Cool. All right. Go away. All right, Ashley. Where would you like to go now?
Classifying angles for 200.
Okay. What kind of angle is this? Type into the chat. Go fast. Wow, Ashley, you are fast. TJ, you are fast too. So that was kind of a tie between TJ and Ashley. I'm going to buzz in for TJ. And he said it was straight. Yay! Cool. TJ, where would you like to go next? We'll wait just a second. He's using the chat. He's going to tell me which category to go to and for how much. 300 for classifying angles. An angle measures 91 degrees. What type of angle is this? Type into the chat. All right. Very good. So Kaylee, you were actually first, and you buzzed in and you said it was acute. All right, so let's see. Oh, sorry. Kaylee, you're yellow. Oh, it's obtuse because it was 91. It was slightly bigger than a right angle, 91 degrees. Okay. All right. So let's have Dakota. You have not. Yeah, I think you did pick a category, but whatever. Go ahead, Dakota. Pick a new category.
Angles formed by parallel lines for 400.
Oh, all right. So we're going to go hard first. Lines A and B are parallel. Which statement is true? Okay, so Dakota buzzed in already. Let's just look at what it's saying. Angles 2 and 4 are congruent. 2 and 4. Angles 5 and 6 are complementary. Angles 3 and 5 are congruent. So we need to know what congruent angles are and supplementary angles are. So let's just go, and this is just a quick way to find answers when you need to find answers. All right, so let me just show you, because it's going to probably give me a picture of what a supplementary angle is. Supplementary angles are angles that when they are together, they add up to 180 degrees. So you'll notice that this little 40-degree angle plus this 140-degree angle together will be 180 degrees, okay? So those are supplementary. So that's supplementary. Let's look at complementary angles. Complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. Complementary angles are 90 degrees. So it's like that 40 plus 50 is 90. Okay? Oh, shoot. Our game is telling us that we need to hurry up. So let's buzz in. Oh, darn it. It was all of the above. Next one that we needed to know, though, was congruent. Let's see if they gave us congruent. They did not. Does anybody know what congruent is before I kind of just show you a picture of it? Congruent angles? It's okay. I mean, this is stuff that's coming up in your future, so it's not bad if you don't know, but let me just show you a picture of a congruent angle. Congruent angles have are the same angle in degrees. So they're the same. It's like 110 degrees, and then even though that this one is flipped over and looks kind of upside down, it still measures 110 degrees. Okay? So they're the same. All right. So that'll help us when we get to this category a little bit more. Let's have Kaylee pick our next category and how much.
Classifying angles for 400.
Okay, here we go. Two perpendicular lines form what type of angle? Ooh. perpendicular lines. Okay, so Dakota buzzed in, it looks like first, and he says that they would be a right angle. So let's see. That is correct. So perpendicular lines, you can just probably picture a right angle in your head and then just continue those lines forward. They make those perfect angles, and they, like, think of one vertical line going straight up and then one horizontal line crossing it, going straight across. Good. All right, Dakota, pick our next category.
Measuring angles 300.
Okay. What is the measure of this angle? Okay, so you have that in your head, I hope. Now let me show you the choices. Okay, now go ahead and answer. Which one makes the most sense? Okay, I had Dakota buzz in first again. All right. Dakota thinks that it's 109 degrees. Let's see. No. If you look at it, it's just slightly over 90. So 96 would have been the best answer. Okay, so I'm just going to start clicking these now. What is the measure of this angle? So take a look. You know it's acute. So let's look at our options. Which one? Oh, there's two good answers. Let's look at it again. All right, Kaylee, you buzzed in first. Kaylee, you are yellow. And she said 30. Perfect. Cool. All right, let's do the last one in this category. Oh, what is the measure of this angle? Oh, wait, that wasn't the question. I'm sorry. It was the angle's complement. So this is a reflex angle. They want to know what would I add to this angle to get to 180 degrees? So this angle measures 25 degrees. What do I need to add to 25 to make it 180? Okay, got some different answers coming in. Let's see. Dakota buzzed in and he said 65. So 65. Oh, I'm sorry. Complimentary. Complimentary was the 90 degrees, not supplementary. Sorry. 90 degrees. So if I add 25 plus 65, I would get 90 degrees. Okay. All right, here we go. Angles formed by parallel lines. Which two angles are corresponding? So let's take a look. Corresponding angles. Do we remember what corresponding meant? So you could type in A, B, C, or D. So we have the option of 3 and 7 being corresponding, 4 and 5, 1 and 8, or 3 and 5. All right, Kaylee buzzed in. And she said B. It's actually 3 and 7. Oh, dang it. Why didn't it show us again? Well, all right. I need to not click so fast on that picture so then it goes away. All right. If the measure of angle 4 is 63 degrees, what is the measure of angle 7? Let's just take a look at the picture. All right. So angle 3 right here is 67 degrees. You can notice that angle 7 is the same exact angle. So what does it have to measure? It's the same angle. Good job. Kaylee buzzed in again. The same angle. What? It's the same angle. I don't know. Maybe I was looking at the wrong numbers. That's okay. All right. Lines A and B are parallel. So which statement is true? Let's go and review that vocab again. Because we have those supplementary and congruent words again. And if we run out of time, that's whatever. Supplementary angles. Okay, so just to review, a supplementary angle are the ones that add up to 180 degrees. The complementary angles were the ones that added up to 90 degrees. So they complement each other. And then congruent angles were, just a little review, congruent angles, here's your picture, are the exact same measurement. So which one of these statements is true? And Dakota buzzed in and he said all of them. So let's see. 2 and 8. All right. 2 and 8 are congruent, and that's actually what I was about to just say. 1 and 5 did not add up to be 180 degrees, and 6 and 7 are not congruent because they were not the same. Okay. All right. Okay. So we all did pretty well. That's one thing that, you just got to kind of remember the vocabulary that goes along with the angles. Supplementary add up to B, and I'll just type this on here. Supplementary angles add up to be 180, and I don't have a degree sign, 180 degrees. Complementary angles, I spelled that wrong, add up to be 90 degrees. And then congruent angles, same measurement. So it could be whatever, same measurement. All right. All right, so that's just a little bit on angles, which you'll be getting to soon. Yes, we don't have a whole lot of time left, but we can look at some lines, different types of lines too, because that's another concept you're coming up on. Lines aren't really that complicated. There's just different types. And actually, bear with me for just a second, and I'm going to show you just a picture of different types of lines. All right, give me just a second. No. Here it is. Okay. Alrighty. So a point, well, that's pretty obvious. That's a point. A line segment has two endpoints. Okay, so that's a line segment. Think of it as a segment of a bigger piece of the line. It's closed off. A ray has one endpoint, and then the other is an endless arrow. So this is an endless line that goes in this direction. It's an endless line. But it has an endpoint on one side. A line, however, is endless on both sides. And that's what the arrow means, is that it's endless. It goes on forever. Parallel lines are two lines that will never touch. See how they will never touch? They'll just go on forever, but they'll never touch. Okay? Intersecting lines, that's pretty obvious. I mean, they cross each other. That's intersecting. And then they have that point in the center. That's where they intersect. They have a common point. You could think of it as an intersection where two streets cross each other. Okay? All right, so those are the different types of lines that you're going to be encountering. If you'd like to play this game, here I'm going to put it on your agenda. so that you can go and play this if you'd like to. It's more of an individual game because you have to shoot the correct thing, so it's not something that we could really do as a group. But this will be on your agenda if you want to go and play that game. The rest we have pretty much covered, and we've done a really good job today. Are there any questions before we go? Okay, just a little reminder, there are no virtual classrooms on Monday. I've just kind of changed the schedule around a little bit. I've covered a lot of things that are coming up in your future, so you have a little bit of time to catch up in math. Um, Next Thursday, we will have a book club instead of math. Okay, so I will see you 1 week from now on next Thursday, and you guys have a fabulous weekend. All right. I will see you later. Give me a wave goodbye. Bye. Yes, Dakota, you can stay on for a couple minutes, but I need to get ready for fourth grade. Um, yeah. Because fourth grade is actually being recorded today. It's kind of crazy.
Um, on Dear Mr. Henshaw, I have, since I was far behind on reading it,
Yeah.
I actually was reading it for a while, and so I'm past the point where Lee takes the advice from Mr. Henshaw for writing a diary.
Oh, good. So good. So you're all caught up then and you're like ready to go.
And I'm a little, I don't know if I'm ahead of the class, but it's
Well, we
starting to
were
get more interesting.
good. Yeah, awesome. Let's see. Let me just look at my little notes here. We were supposed to read all the way until January 31st. So if you're past January 31st, then you're ahead, and that's fine.
Is that after or before he makes his diary?
I don't remember. um, yeah, I'd have to go back and look, but you can easily find that out when you flip through your book. So,
All right.
all
Now,
right.
if I want to read a past there, can I?
Yeah, you can. Just don't give it away for other kids like when we're in the virtual classroom or whatever, like what's coming up. So,
All right.
awesome. Good job today, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, see you next time.
Good luck with fourth grade.
Oh, thanks. Bye, Dakota.
Bye.